getting clients through clients. That's been one of the key factors which has driven success for Simal and SWS Group. Welcome to the session, Simal. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Amit. It's a pleasure seeing you again.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant stuff. Let's get straight into it. Simal, let's start off by you telling us a bit about, your services and what kind of business you're in right now.
Okay. In a one-liner, Amit, what we do is that we help businesses to get more clients through their existing clients. Right? How can you leverage your existing clients to drive more clients to the door? And that's what we do as a one-liner.
Interesting. So how can we get more clients for existing clients? That sounds really interesting. So tell us a bit more about how that works, if I was going to be a client of yours, what would that involve? How would that look like?
So most clients do have a fantastic product or service, but it is not reflected online or offline as well, right? Many of companies have an issue whereby when they give a fantastic product or service, it normally becomes a two-way thing. The client or the business and that happy customer are the only people who know about it. So our clients can't leverage it. So what we do is that we've got a platform and a technology since 2012, and that we've helped over 1,000 clients in 20 plus countries to use our technology to be able to get their clients talking about them in a positive way, so that any happy experience, any great experience they've had with our clients, that then gets reflected online on the different online platforms, on the different social media platforms, our clients' website, YouTube, etc. So when other people are trying to look at considering buying that product or service, when they see a ton load of good information by other people saying, hey, I use this product, I use this service, this is what I got, then it makes them the decision-making power much easier. Saying, okay, that's a dentist I want to go, that's a garage I want to go, that's a lawyer I want to use for my services, right?
That's
and most people, most companies do tend to invest a lot on their marketing, but that creates a lot of visibility, which is important. But visibility minus credibility, as we say, doesn't give the conversions that a client requires. So they need visibility, but more importantly, and far more importantly, I would say they need a lot of credibility of the product or service, so people can then say, that's the guy I want to use. Otherwise, you're just throwing money, and it's a matter of just throwing a lot of things, throwing mud on the wall and seeing what sticks. We make sure that most of what they throw out there, people is going to bring them conversions, and it's going to bring them more clients.
And that's such a simple but deep way of putting it. Most people spend money to get visibility. And once they're visible, the credibility may not be there. And what you do is help finish that piece of the puzzle by helping sure their visibility gets that credibility. And hopefully leads to good income for them in the future. So you've come across thousands of clients and you've worked with thousands of clients since 2012. Would you be happy to share with the listeners out here maybe the top 3 mistakes that you see businesses making time and time again, which is impacting their results, and what you suggest they can maybe do about that?
Okay, yes, absolutely. First mistake businesses do make is one, and these are 3 different levels, or it could be 3 independent mistakes. One is they don't care about the client's feedback. Okay, or they look at that one client, and it could be, for example, maybe a car dealer. All right, fine. Amit is going to come and buy this car once for the next 10 years. Could be a plumber. Then, okay, fine. Or maybe a builder saying, okay, fine. I'm just going to make a house for this guy once. He's not going to come back again, right? Huge mistake, because you do need Amit's feedback, right? Good, bad, or good. Okay. The second thing is they would be caring for the client's feedback, but it's normally given verbally or on a text or on a paper. Right, so they can't actually leverage that. Okay.
So they get feedback, but it's not leverageable.
It's not leverageable, right? And thirdly, they don't have a system of making it easy for people to give a feedback. And this could be for so if it's a smaller business that people interact with their clients one-on-one, right? If they don't have a way of getting that feedback, the positive experience of the client leveraged on multiple platforms, multiple channels, they can't really then experience a further growth of that good service they gave Amit, for example, right?
Yeah.
If it's a business which has got like a high turnover of clients, could be a dental practice, medical practice, garage, a restaurant, etc. Okay, without, and where the owner is not present in interacting with all the clients. I mean, a restaurant owner you can't expect him or her to be able to speak to all the clients. Could be a small hotel owner, could be a clinic, could be could be an osteopath or dentist, right? Who's probably treating one patient, doesn't know what's happening in the reception, right? Now, if you don't have a way of collecting feedback, you never know what has probably cheese of John when he comes to your practice. It just could be a little thing that maybe the reception took maybe a millisecond extra to greet him or her. Now, with that sort of scenario, what's going to happen? Or it could be as little as maybe the bathroom wasn't cleaned properly, maybe the towel wasn't there. Nothing to do with the service, right? It's something totally unrelated. But what happens? That restaurant owner, it could be that dentist, that garage owner, you name it. This is applicable to all kinds of businesses. When you don't have a way of collecting feedback, you don't know when you're losing clients at the back door. And you intend to invest a lot of effort trying to get more clients, not knowing what's happening in the back door. Are you losing clients? So our system works in multiple ways, helps our clients to collect feedback from their customers. Now, it's all tailor-made, it's all customized. There's an immense technology behind that. We've got numerous awards, national awards in doing this. So it's not as simple as it sounds, but to use it is very simple. It's just like using an opener, right? It's as simple as that, okay? But there's a whole mechanism where the good feedback collected, which the customer will give a feedback, which takes some 30, 45 seconds, then gets published or marketed online with the name of the person saying Amit Soda said so and so, or it could be with an initial. And this is where it becomes very important. You asked me about what mistakes people make. They don't have a system. Most businesses don't have a system. So when people are not happy, generally, they would not mention. I mean, when is the last time when you went to your dentist and if you are not happy about something, told him or her, right? You're probably in days with the anesthesia anyway, right? Because at least people in England, we have grown up to be like conservative, right? Not be outspoken. Right. And what happens is I will walk away from that dental practice and then go and tell my friends or family. But if I could have a way of giving that feedback anonymously, right, or where it's not asked to me on the face, I can be honest about experience. So the business owner can then rectify. That's what we do. We help our clients understand the problem and rectify. So that's what it is in a nutshell of it. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes really good sense. And you mentioned a really important word, getting good feedback. Now, we all know that feedback, whether it's reviews or testimonials, whether it's on Google or wherever, can form a good piece of content that sits out there in the internet ether for them to become searchable. So what advice would you give to the listeners over here today on when they're getting feedback or testimonials from clients? What kind of information, what kind of opinions, what kind of things make testimonial or feedback stand out online?
Great. So Amit, you mentioned about Google, and I'm glad you brought it up. So with a feedback, right, you can actually kill two birds at one stone. Not only can you make yourself credible, but you can win massive points with Google. So Google can organically rank you much better than where you are now without paying ads, right? So it's a two-pronged approach. Now, for one to be able to do that, there are three main factors, or I'll say four main factors to consider. One is volume, right? You need a business needs to have a volume of positive feedback online, right? If you're a restaurant, that is obviously going to be much higher than probably an engineer or a consultant, right? Every business does require feedback, but there are different ratios of criteria. And for your listeners, Amit, we would normally do an online report, and we charge our client for an online report. But for your listener, we will be happy to provide a complimentary online report on the how strong the reputation and how strong their brand is online. With respect to what Google would be saying. And normally this would cost, but we'll be happy to do that at a free consultation, right? No obligation consultation will be 30 minutes. Tell them exactly what it is, what they can do. And if they do have the inclination, they can go and fix it and head press so they can get rolling to the next level. It can be a do-it-yourself option. So one is volume, as I mentioned to you. Two is velocity. So I mentioned going to health club, like we both are in a similar health club. You can't go for You can't say I'm going to go today for 4 hours, and then that's goodbye. I'll go back after a week or 10 days. It's got to be regular. 30 minutes daily, 30 minutes every 3 days is much better than 4 hours shot once for every couple of weeks or once a week, right? As you know that, right? So what happens is that there's going to be activity on an online business's presence every week, at least a couple of times or 3 times a week. Now, many of our clients ask us, okay, what happens? I don't have that large number of clients, right? How can we achieve that? Maybe we work with a certain number of clients, and at the maximum we can have is like maybe 30 feedback, right? So what we tell our client, and that's where as we come in, we do the scheduled marketing of our clients' feedbacks. So once a feedback is received, we then drip feed it online on a multiple levels, and it's not just putting a feedback online. There's more than that. We create backlinks. We create the right graphics and the right tagging and verification as well. So there's a lot more than that. So the second thing is velocity. Volume, velocity, and then third is spread. Equally important. It's like brushing your teeth. You can't just focus on 1 or 2 teeth and say, great, that's enough, right? So with Google, there are a lot of platforms that are recognized by Google. And if you just have everything, it's just like on one basket, right? And then that, again, doesn't help the business much. Volume, velocity, and spread. And fourthly, if a business has got a negative outlook online, then for every negative comment that's online, a business needs at least 10 to 15 positive ones just to counter it. Just to counter it, one negative, right? I had a meeting with somebody. We had a session recently, and they had so many positive ones, but they had 9 negative feedback. Now, in short, they needed 135 just to come to the 0 level. Okay, and then on top of that, then anything on top of that, right? So normally it's always a challenge for businesses, right? Because even if they tend to get like 4 or 5 good ones, and if they don't have a system in place, something negative is bound to crop in.
Yeah,
right?
Makes sense.
Because as I
really
say,
most people kind of balance the negative with the positive, because otherwise it can outweigh it. I think you've ascertained that through the kind of ratios and research you've seen and done to overcome it.
And again, it all depends. Every industry has got its own benchmark, right? But this is an average. For most other businesses, it might be slightly more, but that's an average. So if that's what businesses need to consider as an option if they want to build their reputation strongly. Awesome,
makes sense. Let's changing focus now. It's a big industry that you're in right now. I mean, there are plenty of there's a lot of opportunity to get reviews, testimonials, etc. online. I mean, the world is changing day by day. I mean, AI is changing all the time right now. So, looking ahead for the next 3 to 5 years, generally speaking, what challenges do you feel that businesses may be coming across for the next 3 to 5 years, which they need to start getting very vigilant now to help combat it in the future?
So you probably mean on the digital front, correct? Yes. So Google keeps on changing its algorithm, right? Very often on and off, right? And what was correct last 3 weeks ago probably is not going to be true in the next coming weeks or coming months, right? So businesses must keep an eye and ear out on what's happening on the online world. For those businesses that do have a dedicated IT team or a dedicated marketing team or a branding team, that's brilliant. They can invest in that. But for most businesses, most smaller and medium-sized businesses, that where the guy is probably brushing somebody's teeth or cleaning somebody's teeth with a dentist, if I'm giving an example, is the same person probably that's even collecting the money or doing the accounts, right? Most businesses are SMEs in this country.
Yeah.
So for an SME, if you want to be on top of the game, invest time, go online, take time every few weeks to do that, or probably consider working with have a business like ours on a retainer that can not only help you to build and market your reputation, but also provide periodic updates on what's happening on online. I mean, as you guys know, Google have made a few changes, and we're actually helping our clients make those changes complementary. Those have been with us for a long time. And part of our process is making sure that our clients understand during our reporting meeting we have once a month for 10 minutes or so. Hey, what's happening on in online world? So we tend to be the ears and eyes out. It's like, for example, the tax laws keep on changing, right? I don't have time, or no business has time. That's why we have like an accountant on our books, right?
Yeah.
Who do the
It's in
year-end
the kind of way you kind of keep an outlook on what's happening in the marketing space and what rules are changing, and really help them navigate that ocean to keep going towards the destination of shining online. Final question. I know we're running out of time, but I just want to get a quick question in here. So you've been in business for a number of years now, and no doubt you've learned plenty of lessons along the way just for yourself and your own business.
Yeah.
But looking back to the time when you were just 18 years old, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self from today?
The biggest advice I would get is first do something that you love, what you're passionate about, right? So my journey in the IT world started when I was actually 23 is when I got employed, my first job. But prior to that, I was in an IT world as a freelancer as well. Yeah. So look for something that you're passionate about. Then every day becomes more of a joy than a chore, right? And two, when you get what you're passionate about, don't be scatterbrained. Focus. You know, there is a saying that says, you get a leaf, and you've got a magnifying glass, just put the magnifying glass on that leaf or that heap of woods, and you're going to create a fire just with the power of sun. So know what you're passionate about, and then focus. And then thirdly, don't forget integrity, right? There's no point of doing things without integrity and being upfront on every manner, because that will carry you through for a long time, making sure that you're successful.
Beautifully put. Let me just summarize for the people out there. Number one, who's what you're passionate about. Number two, really focus and hone in on it. The magnifying glass, there's some focus on it, further place down or further place up in a good way. And finally, integrity. If you can do it well, customers' satisfaction sets is very important. Simal, you've been absolutely fantastic. I've got a whole page worth of notes with learnings from what you've shared, which I would no doubt can be useful to the business community. We'd love to have you back here again at some point in the future. In the meanwhile, thank you for imparting some wonderful wisdom. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ahmed, for having me. It was a pleasure speaking to your viewers.